Okay, hello there, welcome back. Today I'm talking about Breaking Bad and El Camino. Like Deadwood, there has been a new movie from a TV show that's been dead for a while. In this case it's Breaking Bad, and it's Vince Gilligan who created Breaking Bad and was a showrunner for all the season, directed some of it, came back and wrote and directed a final film that is it takes one of the characters from Breaking Bad and shows what happened to them just after the finale of Breaking Bad, and it's wonderful. But it's better than Breaking Bad first, then come to the film. The Breaking Bad, as anyone who's probably been on the internet for 10 years or has been aware, is a show about a guy who's dying of cancer and who decides to become a drug dealer because his family doesn't have enough. He's working two jobs. He's working as a teacher, then also later on in this shop for cars and things, and cleaning cars and things. So he's trying to work two jobs. He's miserable. He gets cancer. It's terminal. He's not going to make it, and he just cracks up and he just breaks. On the title Breaking Bad, where he decides he has all this knowledge that he's never used. He was an intelligent guy who ended up compromising himself and becoming a teacher rather than an inventor. He had a chance of being an inventor, but he couldn't stick it out because there was too many risks. And one of the bitter ironies is the thing that he was working on inventing that ended up making a lot of money, but he'd sold out before it. So he's very bitter about that because he felt he didn't get what he was deserved. And now he's a teacher and his life's very compromised and he's dying, and he just had it. And because he knows all this chemical stuff, he says, I'm going to make crystal meth and sell it and make some money for my family so that when I'm dead they'll have some money. It may be completely immoral, but screw it, the world's not nice, the world's horrible, nobody cares about each other, people are total scumbags, why should I care? And he has that attitude, and that's the start of his downfall. So basically he meets up with one of his old students called Jesse Pinkman, who's moved on from school, who's a bit of a drug addict, who's also trying to create crystal meth on his own and feeling badly. And because Walter White, the lead character, has the know-how, and Jesse kind of has some street connections, they get together as partners to try and cook this meth, make it good meth, and sell it on and get the money. So the way they figure it is they make a lot and just try and sell it outright quickly to drug dealers, get the money, and that's them. Of course, everything goes completely pear-shaped as situation rolls on to situation. They get more and more under the thumb of different people, because the drug world obviously is full of criminals who will not give you your proper respect or your proper share of any profits, and would rather kill you than give you your share. And they're dealing with this all the time. They're dealing with layers and layers of criminals, so they've always, because they're so inexperienced, they've always into all of these criminal escapades that almost get them killed. And this goes on for like 5 years really of the series, where they're going further and further up and they're making some money, but they end up losing a lot of time due to their own incompetence. But the cops are noticing there's this new meth in the street that's actually a lot more addictive because it's much purer and it's much more devastating to the community. The communities are getting devastated with this new meth. And Walter White doesn't care if he's just saying he's doing this for his family, but it's obvious there's other stuff going on, and he's getting off and lying to his family, manipulating them, manipulating everything around him. Plus his brother-in-law is a cop chasing this character called Heisenberg, who's Walter White's, his alias. And as the series goes on, it becomes more and more like Heisenberg and less like who Walter White was originally seemed to be to everybody. This henpecked, nobody. And as Heisenberg, he can get the respect he feels he's earned. But as the show goes on, you see the corrosive effect of the greed as his cancer starts to get better, and he's in remission for a while, so it extends his life a bit, but it's obviously not going to go away. Eventually it's going to come back to him. But it's not what eating away his body's the problem, it's what eating away his character. How he kind of has to hide the money in different areas to actually sort of launder it to actually be able to use it properly. So he has to like buy up certain companies and say he's making lots of profits through them when he's not, just to make get the money in. There's only so long he can hide it from his wife about what he's doing, because she's smart enough to realise there's something dodgy. I mean, no matter how much lies he can tell, eventually she's going to figure it out. Eventually she does, and then it becomes the corrosive effect on her as he talks her around to not leaving him and just sticking in for a while until they can get out cleanly. And as you see with her, the corrosive effect on her, what it's doing to her character, and how it just destroys her as well. And then you can see his cop brother-in-law becoming more and more obsessed by Heisenberg and what he's doing to the community, and this sets him off. Hank as a character sets him off to do some really stupid cop things that end up getting him in a lot of trouble and end up getting him thrown off the case, then promoted, and he's up and down. And the big tension of the series is, when's he going to figure out it's Walter White who's Heisenberg? So when's this finally going to happen? So as the series goes on, you see all these characters, like he gets a lawyer, Walter White gets a lawyer called Saul Goodman, who's a crooked lawyer, and he shows him how to launder his money and hide it and all the rest of it. As it goes on, Jesse gets more and more upset about what they're doing, and what he's having moral misgivings. Like, his idea of doing meth was for personal use and for his friends and make a lot of money, but he's not a career criminal. He's too much of a conscience to do that. And you see the corrosive effect. He becomes like conscience of the show, because he's the guy that knows what they're doing is wrong. He's the guy who can see the effect of having, and he can't live with himself. And the more successful they get, the more happy Walter White gets, the more miserable he gets, the more guilty he gets, and he's trying to find ways to purge the guilt. And slowly as the series goes on, they have to deal with new partners, then kill off these partners because the partners want too much of a share. And some of these guys are very dangerous, so it's very difficult to outsmart them. And also, they're human as well. They're not all like, you're not just seeing them as the villains, just seeing them as human beings who made complicated choices and who became villainous, just like Walter White. So it became these criminals against each other. So the whole show goes on that until finally Walter White finally climbs to the top of the pile to be like the godfather of crystal meth in his area, and to feel like he's happy, like he's finally succeeded, no matter that his own wife is now destroyed by him. His business partner is a wreck and needs to get out of there. Everything that's was worthwhile in his life is gone. His brother-in-law's career's destroyed. Everything, his brother-in-law's having like panic attacks over everything now because of what's happened. And eventually his brother-in-law figures out that Walter White is Heisenberg. And that's when everything comes to the head, that's when everything comes to the close, that's when the whole world is blown up. And it's a wonderful show, because eventually, even then, nothing works out that we expect. Eventually, Walter White is revealed as the kingpin. He gets his just desserts, he escapes, and then eventually comes back to get revenge on certain people. But it's an empty victory, because everything's been destroyed. Like, no matter what he does, his life's been destroyed, his family's been destroyed, and he has to end up like threatening people and blackmailing people to actually ensure that some of the money he has left goes to his family, so that it's something after he's dead, because his cancer's come back. It's a wonderful show. It's all about human corruption, human greed, human like vanity, because Walter White's a very vain character. He thinks he was never given what he deserved from life, and he'll do anything he can to let people know that he was important, no matter if what he's doing is utterly destructive to everybody, which crystal meth is. and utterly destructive to his own friends and family, and he's a horrible character. But you're sympathetic to him for so long that by the time you realise you've become too sympathetic towards someone who's horrible, it's too late. But the show also has Jesse Pinkman, who's a character who starts off the annoying sidekick. And for the first season or two, he's the annoying character, and more like the most sympathetic character. But it switches at a certain point where Jesse becomes a human character, because he's the one with a conscience who understands ultimately what's going on and what he can. And the funny thing about the show is it shows all these middle class people having these facades of these respectable jobs who are there to deliver drugs, and who a lot of the facades of civilized society is there to actually be drug mules, to be the front for drugs, to sell these drugs to the lower classes and the middle classes to survive their life, a very depressing life, and this facade of respectability is a front for it, and it becomes this corrosive effect of all these supposedly nice, decent human beings who are actually totally without conscience and who have no problem sending more people down the river. And it becomes this funny idea about what the middle class actually is in America or in the world, where a lot of, as long as you put the good front, what you're actually doing, unless you get caught, is not judged. It's not anything. It's not a problem. It's just whatever you're doing, as long as you don't get caught, it's fine. Just be respectable and you'll be fine. And that's what this show's kind of about, is this kind of respectability and the rot below the surface and the rot beneath any kind of capitalistic venture that goes beyond simply making money to survive. It's actually about vanity and greed and having power over people. And it's, every race has it. I mean Walter White's a white guy, obviously, but you see every race come into his orbit. There've always people like him. It's like nobody's nobody escapes from this. But the kind of white middle class guys are the ones who you funnel the money through, and it really rips apart the idea that the respectable classes are respectable. And they always look down upon the actual drug dealers who they're laundering money for and stuff. The kind of more working class people was like, don't get too close to me. I'm respectable. And it's like, there's a nice bit of humour throughout the series in that as well. But it's also the whole idea that, gaining power and respectability is something that's really important rather than having decency. And it's like, it showed the corrosive effect of that. Now, El Camino, the Breaking Bad film, follows on from the end of Breaking Bad. It's the end of Breaking Bad. Walter White dies. He takes out all of his enemies, but he's killed in the process. And because he's dying, he doesn't care. He can go in full bung knowing it doesn't matter if he gets shot. He's going to die. Like, everyone knows who he is. He can't escape who he is. He will die. And he's fine with that. He'd rather go out and blaze a glory rather than go out, having disappeared in nowhere. He'd rather be a god to people, this great gangster, than a decent man. So, but during that time, he finds out that Jesse had been kidnapped by these other drug dealers who had taken over his business and been used as the guy to cook the meth, and he'd been imprisoned. So his last moment is a kind of half-decent thing of actually getting back to his partner who they'd turned against each other by the end of the season and the series, and kind of hated each other because Jesse had turned on him and betrayed him to the cops, and he hated Jesse for that. But even at the end, he couldn't let him get left in this hellhole, so he goes and rescues him before he dies. And basically the El Camino story is Jesse trying to escape, having escaped from that drug den. It's like, now all the cops are after him to answer the questions of what happened with Walter White. Like, what happened the whole Breaking Bad TV show, and he does not want to deal with that. So he has to, the show is watching him deal with the trauma of his last 5 years of existence in the drug world, traumatised, terrified, just paranoid. He's lots of scars, he's a shakes, he's everything, he's shakes of just PTSD, he's just utterly destroyed a human being. But he has to pull himself together to find the money to pay off the guy in the who sells vacuum cleaners, because that's a front for this guy who helps people disappear after their lives have been destroyed by their deeds. And he has to get a certain amount of money to get to this guy to pay him off so he can help him disappear. Because he doesn't have any money, he has to figure out how to get the money. And he owes the guy money from before, so he has to find double the money he would normally need to do this. So you see him. He has to go back to find one of his old drug partners who has been killed by Walter White, and find a way the guy stashed his money. Because you know the guy stashed his money in this apartment. And so where did he stash it? And that leads to complications because other partners who did not get killed by Walter White are also coming to find the money. And it becomes this suspense story. But people Jesse's caught, then he turns his tides on people, and there's lots of complications, but it's actually getting his money. And the irony being, in this case, it's not getting the money for power or pride, it's getting the money to survive, to escape, to go somewhere else so he can start his life again. It's not about having this nest egg or anything, it's just like he needs to get away and start again. So it becomes this scramble for survival and dignity and just escaping the authorities. And it's wonderful because it's all about redemption and a sense of trying to escape the past and escaping this curse of having met this guy, Walter White, who just destroyed his life. I mean, he made mistakes on his own, but being connected to this guy made it so much worse for him, and never gave him an out to escape with. And it's like him finally throwing off the shackles of what happened to him and saying, I've got to actually move on from this. I can't change what happened, I've got to move on. And it finally becomes about him moving on, and the whole story is that him escaping through hell, escaping through these suspense sequences and this mortal terror. And there's also flashbacks to him when he was captured by these drug guys who had forced him to actually make the meth for them, and the horrors that faced him there. And it's about trying to drag himself through that to actually go to Alaska where he wants to go, because it's quiet, it's away from everybody, and he can maybe try and escape and have some peace and quiet and try and find a life there. So it's a wonderful movie. It's kind of like, it couldn't really work in Breaking Bad. Like if that was the final episode of Breaking Bad, people would be like, well, where's Walter White? Why is it ending with Jesse? So you couldn't do that because Breaking Bad was Walter White's story. But by having it as a movie afterwards, it means you get the final bit of the story. You're kind of, I think it's the one part of Breaking Bad people were most annoyed by, was like you never quite worked out, you never quite got a resolution to Jesse's story compared to everyone else. Like his story escaped, but it never felt quite complete. So you finally get that. I mean, there are some downsides, like it's made 6 years later and some of the actors have aged noticeably, but you have to just accept that. That's just the way things go. I mean, that's just life. But it's still wonderful. It's still a wonderful story. It's just like escaping hell through hell to get out of hell. Really, that's what the story is. And it's wonderful. It's very detailed. It's very clear. And the good thing about Breaking Bad is a crime series, but it's about the what happens with criminals long term rather than just a quick shoot them up at the end of a movie. It's like 5 seasons plus this film of what happens to your soul when you're a criminal. And this is the perfect ending for it. It's like what if someone surviving. It's like the criminal who went straight and thought, nah, I'm not doing this anymore. This is bad for me and everyone else. And how does he survive? And it's very tough and it's very difficult. It's a metaphor for that. This film actually had one of Robert Forster's last performances. This was released on the day he died. And you know, that's a hell of a way to go out, to actually have one of your final performances released on Netflix and it's a big thing of the day on the day he died. That's like a hell of a way to go out. And he's great in this. He plays a guy who gets these criminals out and relocates them. And he's one of the most important parts because Jesse has to negotiate with him. And it becomes this very funny, darkly humorous but very dry negotiation with two people who don't owe each other anything, and they don't really need to like each other that much. But they just have to treat each other like adults, and it's wonderful, and it's a lovely final performance. And him and Aaron Paul play against each other really well. They always did the show as well, and there's just wonderful details. It's just beautifully done. It's a great final performance. It's a great ending to Breaking Bad. I mean, there's Better Call Saul, which is a spin-off show, which I need to get into, but I just haven't yet. I'm kind of waiting for that to be over, then watch it, I think. But this is wonderful. This is a great ending to this particular part of the story, the Walter White element of the story, and it's just great. And the Jesse Pinkman in relation to Walter White, it's the perfect way to end it. So I highly recommend watching Breaking Bad, all 5 seasons, and watching this. You're going to have a great time. It starts a little slow to start with, but when it gets going, it really gets going. Well, I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you soon with another video.